Welcome to TheoTRADE. Don Kaufman here on a Wednesday afternoon, 20 minutes to go to the cash close. Let's get right to it here, of course, on this TheoTRADE evening video. The S&P futures are down 13 points right now, which for the kind of volatility we've seen in the last, few trading sessions, this is pretty much massively unchanged. But I'm going to tell you right now, do not let your guard down. Marketplace is still pricing in some big boy risk. And if you have absolutely no idea what that means, well, I am going to explain that. I'm also going to explain a couple of, maybe some areas oversold, okay, some areas that are even overbought, and some trades that I'm taking right now. Let's get right down to it. To begin with, in the S&Ps, they're only down 11 handles right now, which I have to say, it's kind of shocking because when you go to the SPX, I'll remind each and every one of you here inside of the SPX, normally on these Wednesday videos, I kind of finish with this, but I got to tell you, it's pretty much the most important thing going on in the marketplace right now. And what's that? Well, the fact that the SPX has been pricing in throughout the course of this week, it's plus or minus a $224 expected move on the week. Actual move? I mean, well, here, you really want to get into context of what the actual move has been. Just kind of really, you literally have to zoom in on this. The week started right here at 67.40. Where are we trading right now? 67.70. 30 points? Are you kidding me? We've had 30 points of movement when we're pricing in a 220 some odd dollar expected move. I got to tell you, that's one of the things right off the bat. Okay, you're like, ruh-roh. It almost feels like it's like holding back, waiting for some type of a catalyst. And catalysts are going to come later this week, and I'm just going to hit this right off the bat. If you actually take a look at the calendar, what do you got? What do you got tomorrow? Tomorrow is not crazy. Maybe a little jobless claims. I'm just going to call it a day, pretty much a jobless claims. Let's not get into detail about like a natural gas report or housing starts because nobody cares. Coming into Friday, though, holy crap, there's durable goods, some GDP, a side order of PCE, consumer sentiment, and jolts. Okay, there's a few catalysts on top of that. Well, it turns out there might even be a war going on. And that unto itself is... that's still going to be contentious, but even oil's magnificent move, okay, and oil being bid today, all of a sudden, once again, nobody cares. It's like it's getting priced in. So why do I say that there's still, what I term some big boy risk? Well, for that, again, we go to the SPX. And I know we just talked about like a 224 some odd dollar expected move, but take a look just at the March 13th expiration. Okay, and the March 13th, when is this? This Friday. Okay, another Friday the 13th. You love it, you know it. And then take a look over to the right-hand side of the screen, and you're going to see why there's an area of contention. It's almost still a $100 expected move, and yet we only have, Thursday and Friday left. That's still really significant. Okay. And, just looking at that, that's like right here, right now, like right in front of you stands, okay, proverbial crap load of volatility. However, okay, if you take a look at like VIX, all right, VIX is still up here in an intense zone. This is not never land, but this is an intense zone, 24, 25 region. We look at the volatility futures, okay, the volatility futures are still in a decent size backwardation, okay? And then, to kind of further that, speaking of never land, the VVIX. The VVIX is still trading, a cool 123. No one's relinquishing their hedges in here. And again, everything that I like to do on these kind of evening updates, especially midweek like this, is kind of big picture. I'm going to talk about a sector here in a second where I actually see some opportunity, but like big picture, the marketplace is still not through the risk, okay? And that it's not meant to be a bearish kind of connotation. If there's one thing you will learn from me about volatility, okay, is that in the here and now, it's really difficult okay, to cut through some of the noise. It's really difficult to discern, the very next move could be higher, but I think that there's still downside convexity. And I say that like, because when I say I think the next move, the next move could be higher, even if we burst to the upside. Just to give you a quick feel also of downside convexity. Downside convexity means like, look, if we rally the next couple of weeks, we could probably get back to 7,100. But the downside, okay, it's the abyss. The downside, I mean, this market could easily trade down to the low 6,000s, which, all right, so you have what? Oh, maybe 300 points to the upside, and you have probably double that, probably closer to 700 points of downside risk inside of the S&Ps. But as I was saying a moment ago, so there's still downside convexity, but I was saying a moment ago, just because I'm pointing out like this heavy expected move and I'm pointing out that the VIX is still amped in here, it doesn't mean we can't have, a bit of a rip your face off rally. And, it even makes sense to, right back to 68.50 and get back inside of that volatility box. Okay. That's all plausible, and it's plausible. And for that, I'm even going to show you a trade, but before I show you that trade, I still want to remind everybody, and I was doing this in the weekend update, okay, that the thing I'm probably most bothered by, if the market closes right here, right now, you're 3.5% removed from an all-time high. And I'm going to say the same thing I said in the weekend update, okay? You haven't even begun to sell off. There hasn't really been any sell side activity. You're like, we got down to 6,600 and I wet myself. Like, again, with all due respect, you haven't even sold off. You haven't begun to sell off. Okay. Oh no, at the absolute bottom over here, from absolute top to absolute bottom, okay, was like what? Almost 5%. Okay. Wake up and recognize, okay, there's tremendous downside risk. I don't give a crap whether you're bullish or bearish. I really don't. Downside convexity, there's huge downside risk in the marketplace. And with all of these volatility indicators still screaming, big boy risk on the table, pay attention. Where do I see some opportunity? Here's the easiest one. I like to get into low-hanging fruit. I think the financials, okay, kind of incredibly oversold at this point. You can bring up every indicator. Look, it's oversold. But I actually like to use a much more quantitative indicator. I'm actually looking at the expected move in this case. And you can see huge breach of expected move. Okay, the week after that's kind of pretty much neutral to higher. Then again, hitting the lower edge of the expected move, pretty neutral week, hitting the lower edge of the expected move. I mean, we've had a couple of really rough weeks in financials. Now, it's not that the financials can't sell off more. But again, here's actually a sector that if any bounce is to come inside of the in the S&Ps, okay, you're going to get a nice rip to the upside over here. And this is a decent place, for entry in here. And I'm talking about a very, very short-term bounce, specifically in, of course, these financials. Other than that, okay, again, in a market like this, I predominantly want to trade spreads. Okay, I want to go after like what I term low-hanging fruit. I've mentioned like Microsoft a couple of times. I think Microsoft, okay, retests through 400. Okay, I happen to have a spread on just for that occurrence. So if it retests through 400, we'll have degrees of profitability on that one. Okay, that's what I reference in terms of like low hanging fruit. I've also got a position in FXI. This one's almost ready to come off. This is a bounce and fade trade where some big sell side activity. This is almost the opposite setup of like the financials. Big sell side activity, a huge bounce. Looking for it to come back off a little bit. Again, the bottom line with volatility like you're getting right now, people, this is what I live for. This is what you train for, people. Okay, you gotta love this. And most retail, all right, if you have a 401k or an IRA, and by the way, retail is just, it's all of us. You trade through a firm like Charles Schwab, you're trading through like an E-Trade, okay, you're trading through like a Robinhood. We're all retail traders. Retail traders typically don't do well, okay, when the volatility picks up. But this, with all due respect, if you know what you're doing and you actually use spreads, this is where you can come to life. Like this, and I really mean this. Like this is, you don't even have to be like right directional. You just have to be in trades. You just, play some, do the best you can. It's volatility. You have no idea if the S&Ps are going to be up 50 handles, in the morning or down 50 handles in the morning. And, damn it, I like it. And I'll tell you exactly why I like it. I like it in sheer respect to the fact that, again, wrong tomorrow, right the day after. That's what volatility does. Okay, this is all about strategy at this point. Okay, what is the strategy? Has nothing to do with, I looked in a MACD and a Fibonacci. Yeah, push all that crap aside. Fundamentals, nobody cares, especially when we're selling off. Like literally nobody cares about fundamentals. Microsoft is a good company. It should be trading over 400. Thank you very much, Captain Obvious. Nevertheless, okay, this thing looks like it's going to test through that 400 level. Maybe get a little freaky to the downside for a period of time. That's where you want to be. Meanwhile, you got stuff like the financials. This thing's barely had an uptick. Okay, if we do rotate back to the marketplace, look, I can be wrong 4 or 5 days in a row and the financials could break down, then have this explosive move back to like 51, even 52. And that's where I'm going to be. That's the trade I'm actually going to take in here. There's just minutes to go to the cash close. I got to tell you, okay, the irony is with this volatility, as I say, it feels calm, but still big boy risk is lurking, right? Even to the cash close with 10 minutes to go, you don't have a feel for these S&Ps. Nobody does, okay? We're dangling on the edge of some really big risk. Thanks everybody for joining us here at TheoTRADE. Have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.